Welcome, Drink with James, episode 46. A few pieces of housekeeping before we get going. Number one, Eric Jess sent me some whiskey. Tim, can we have that that cat, that internet cat that has a Pop-Tart behind it, pull his name across across the screen and a kind of rainbow action with some things happening here? Thank you for the whiskey. This is fantastic. I've only had the cheaper doors, and Tim and I are both enjoying it quite a bit right now. So thank you. Again, feel free to cheers. Feel free to ask us for our address. It's in all of our website as well. And you guys can send me whiskey, and I'll mention your name, and I'll drink it all. I promise. Unless it's cheap, in which case I'll give it to one of my employees. So we're here. We're in the conference room. You guys watched the Drink with James with Patrick, which was incredible. I don't know if you saw last week's Drink with James. We had maybe our most commented one ever. Probably started by my mother, Sharon Nord, going completely rogue in the comments. And she was upset that she wasn't getting enough shout outs. And then she was just making a plea for free stuff, as if the brands that were reading it were just oh, this nice lady has commented that she would like free things. I'll just send it to her. But any of our brand partners out there, clients, not clients, you watch this, if you could send my mother some free stuff, there is nothing that brings her more joy than free shit. It doesn't even have to be something that she can use. It could be men's shoes, and she will be happy to just have something free. DM me, I'll send you her address. What else am I supposed to do? Look, we're gonna have question number one today is about the conference, but Tim and I both blown away with the response. We are almost sold out, so if you haven't bought your ticket, jump on it. I might just triple the price in the last 5 seats just because I can. Do a little, maybe some sort of blood sport, Hunger Games thing to see who gets the last seats. But it's been totally incredible. I'm blown away with how many people are flying in for it. The pressure is on for us to make sure that it is worth you doing that. And as I said before, I am 100% confident that it's going to be. Hey, people watching, are you coming? We want this to be, a very social, friendly thing. So if you're coming to the conference, throw it in the comments. Say that you're going to join us. I'd love to see your face. Try and remember your name before it actually happens. If you're not coming, tell us why. Let us know. So we've been getting a lot of questions about the conference. I want to just speak a little bit. I've spoken in generalities, right? No panels, no social media, things like that. So a few specific questions we've gotten. There's been a lot of interest in us streaming it. That is something we are not going to do. We are also not going to film it and release videos later. I want this to be the speakeasy of conferences, right? This is some hidden shit. It's no social media. And that is not for us to try and be cool, partially. Okay, so maybe it's partially for us to try and be cool. The reason we are doing that and we're banning social media inside of the conference is that I want the speakers, again, to be able to speak with complete candor and transparency about what I'm asking them to speak about without fear of their comments being misrepresented on social media. What happens a lot of times in these conferences is people water down their responses so that they can't seem offensive, or I don't want to say offensive, so they can't seem things can be misinterpreted on the internet very easily. And when people are tweeting your quotes without context, the things you say could be taken in the wrong way. So we're eliminating that issue by eliminating social media. That also means no live streaming, no videotaping of the conference. You have to be in the room to get the value from it. That's one thing. It's a little bit different. Two, as I said, really excited. A lot of you are coming in from out of town. I think we're going to do a little cocktail happy hour situation the day before the conference. If you have a ticket, we'll email you and let you know where it's going to be. But again, I don't want to have a room full of strangers if we can help it. And if you guys are flying in, we might as well try and have a drink before the conference. So if you signed up, you'll get an email about that in the coming week. or so, because it's in 9 days. So yeah, in the coming week. Lastly, really excited. We've started to get some of the topics and things that people are going to be talking about. We have Rachel Martino is going to be talking about having like a kind of big corporate job and being an influencer. I know this is something a lot of you struggle with, and I think she did it really well. She had, eventually quit her job, but she had a pretty big following, and she was doing a lot of work while she was working at Estee Lauder. So that's going to be really interesting. A Drink with James' favorite, JC Dupree, Damsel in Dior, is going to give a keynote about 10 or 15, I don't know how many things, but just kind of her top lessons that she's learned from, running her blog like a business, to growing her following, to working with, brands. So she's going to kind of be laying out kind of her top tips. We've got Justin Livingston and Christina, who are just hilarious. I think I might just let them just talk for 20 minutes. So sometime later this week, check out the site. We're going to have the full itinerary up, the full list of topics, who's talking about what, up on the site later at the end of this week probably. We're just nailing down a couple last things. But it is shaping up to be better than I think I certainly thought it even my wildest dreams. So I think it's going to be incredible. Everyone's topics are super specific as well. We're not just saying like, talk to us about your blog and how you grew it. It's like, this person has a focus. A good example is Isaac and Jenny. We did a really cool David's Bridal campaign with them. They often are in sponsored posts together as a duo, and so they're going to speak on that, on doing sponsored brand work as a duo. That is something that they can speak with absolute authority on. So that is the thing that they're going to talk about. So each speaker, we've kind of looked at the thing that they're best at. And the thing that they have a unique viewpoint on, and we are asking them to talk specifically on just that thing. So there's going to be not a lot of generalities in this conference. It's going to be laser focused and targeted to what these people are best at. Another big question has been, are we going to do more of these? Absolutely. Again, these aren't money-making things for us. We are happy if we do make money, but the point is to try and get out there and spread the love and spread the education around as much as we can. So we will definitely be doing at least an LA version of this in the next 6 months. And who knows other than that? Maybe we'll have one on a, For You yacht edition or something. I think if everyone throws $5,000 in and we get 30 people, we could get a pretty sick boat, So those of you who have are independently wealthy, just have like family money that you're looking to blow, drop me a line. We'll try and see if we can do something special. Is it possible to turn an affiliate relationship into a yearly paid sponsorship? Anything's possible, I was talking to my grandmother the other day. It was her birthday. She's 93 years old. And she was like, please let me die. I don't want to live anymore, which is, I feel like every old person says as they near the end of their life. Depressing things aside, I was speaking to her and she was like, who would have thought when you were young that you would have ended up being successful? And I was like, well, like me, kind of, but apparently she didn't really have a huge amount of faith in me. What I'm trying to say is all things are possible. You definitely can do that. Generally, the only hurdle would be that the departments that deal with affiliate networks and affiliate payments for influencers are generally different than the people that are going to be building year-long partnerships with influencers. So they're kind of different departments. I don't know if y'all know much about a marketing funnel, but at the top of the funnel it's really big and then it gets small, like any funnel, like you may remember from your fraternity or sorority days. And you try and pull people in with certain advertising, and then there's certain advertising that tries to convert them. Affiliate networks work at the bottom of that funnel. They want to convert people that already know about the brand into sales. A lot of sponsorship-based influencer ads are more top of funnel. They're trying to let people know about a brand. They're trying to educate people. They're trying to get them interested in that product. In a company, those are usually different departments. you know that the people that deal with influencer sponsorships, year-long, what am I trying to call that? Year-long ambassador. Like, the people at a brand that deal with an ambassador relationship are usually on the PR side or the brand marketing side, and the people who deal with affiliates are usually on the performance marketing side. So it is possible, but at a bigger company, you might find that they're different departments. Yeah, so this was a really honest question from an influencer who preferred to stay anonymous. And I totally commiserate. They've been working hard on their feed for years. They've seen some good traction, but just not the kind of growth that they would expect for the level of effort that they're putting in. And I don't want to speak to that specific feed, obviously, but just more in general. It can get really frustrating doing this for years and years and not having it work. My suggestion to anybody out there who has been doing something consistently for years and they're reading the blogs and they're taking all the advice and they're watching this show and they're trying to do the things that they know they need to do, if it's still not working, I'm not saying you should abandon it, but you should try something new. Again, remember, we had an episode, and maybe Tim can find it and link to it, that talked about why people follow you. And you need to give them something different. And a lot of times that means personality. If you're not massively talented as a photographer, or you don't have great style and you're, whatever it might be, a lot of times people are going to follow you because of your personality, because you're different. And you can't just give them a generic feed of kind of pretty things without any kind of honesty or personality put into that. So, speaking in general, if it feels like you're banging your head against the wall and you're not getting anywhere, you need to try and change things up. You need to try and shift the way you create content. You need to try and change the types of things you talk about, whatever it might be. If you care about growing. If you don't, you're just publishing your stuff and that's what you're interested in, then more power to you. You don't have to worry about growth. But if you want to grow and you're not, you have to try different things. It's that old thing. What's the definition of insanity? Is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result. So if you're not growing and it's been years and you keep doing the same stuff and you still stop growing and you haven't tried something new, that is your first course of action. Try something new. And you can break it into weeks or months and say, okay, for the next 2 weeks, I'm going to try and do this completely differently. And I'm going to look at the data, I'm going to look at my growth rates, and I'm going to see what happens. It doesn't have to be something you commit to forever. You can just try for a week here and a week there to introduce something new, to change the way you speak to people, to change the way you write, to change the way you shoot, whatever it might be, or to change platforms. Maybe your Instagram isn't growing that well, but maybe your blog is great. Well, maybe you should double down on your blog. Maybe you would be really good at YouTube. Maybe you should try some of that. So try and switch it up and find something where, in the startup world, we call it product market fit, where you have a product that the market wants. And once you have that fit, then you can start, expecting real growth. But a lot of times it takes a while to find what that is. And I can speak for startups. The product that gets product market fit is almost never the product that the founder starts the company with. They always are tweaking it, and they started here thinking they were going to do this one thing, and they ended up here, and this is the thing that ends up helping them grow a lot. So don't be discouraged by it. You gotta change it up. That is it. Thank you. Again, if you haven't signed up for the conference, you're only going to hear me badgering you about this for another week. But again, if you haven't signed up, please do. This is going to be awesome. The speakers that we have, the people who are coming in, there's brands there, there's Tim. Have you met Tim? No. Have you even seen Tim? Not really. You're going to. If you want to meet Tim, this is the only way to do it, literally. I don't let him out of the office. He sleeps in the other conference room. So sign up. You won't regret it. There's going to be whiskey. Cheers.